So I felt this chapter was more so one of those chapters that cranks up the waterworks, so to speak. It was definitely giving the past of Rebecca, and it felt like one of those Straw Hat type of past where it's like very tragic and sad, and they had to go through a lot of hardships, which immediately makes me think, okay, then this is definitely pushing forward a possibility of her becoming a potential Straw Hat in the future. After this chapter, it really just affirms that Rebecca has all the qualifications for a Straw Hat. She got the sad past, she got that thing where Luffy kind of is looking at her like, yo, I kind of want to protect you, similar to how he felt about Nami. She's a pretty good fighter in and of herself. And then if she gets the Mera fruit, it's even better. And I guess you could make the comparison as well that Doflamingo is the Arlong to her Nami, so there's that as well. But for the most part with this chapter, we really was building upon like seeing Rebecca's past, and I think this was just meant for character development with Rebecca and giving us more of an attachment to the character, because we understood now her relationship with the toy soldier and why she's devoted to him and really wants to help him because he helped her in a time of need. And I guess the biggest shocker was that pretty much her grandfather was the former king, and everybody of the kingdom resents her for it. Now it makes me think, do they resent her because Doflamingo spread lies and said, you know, I'm great and her grandfather wasn't that great of a king? Or was it that they resent him for leaving the position and giving it to Doflamingo, where they're pretty much, you know, they gotta be in the house at certain times, Doflamingo's doing shady shit on the side? Because I feel like with Dressrosa is one of those things where the arc and the people in it of itself is more of like a community-based place where the community is very heavily involved. So to see everything is like the community is like, okay, we like this king better. So it's kind of like they playing with the politics and whatnot, which just makes it a little bit more interesting. But you could totally see that right now Luffy is just really like, it's kind of like Arlong Park right now with this one, where he was pissed off at the end. It's like, yo, you guys are being a piece of shit to this woman. She's been through hell. She's a good person, and you guys are fucked up, and I'm gonna stop this. Which, like I said in my last chapter, all the more reaffirms that I think Luffy's gonna want to fucking beat the shit out of Doflamingo. But aside from that, this chapter was really basic and definitely didn't give a lot more of what I was hoping for, because last chapter was just an explosion. Burgess, Bartholomew, Blackbeard, craziness. And then this chapter kind of confined us to Rebecca's backstory, which it was interesting, and I could imagine if the anime does it right, then we could get some really good stuff and possibly even, you know, a tear-worthy moment. Because it was fucked up to see her mother, you know, struggling to save her, struggling to survive, and her ending up having to eat food from her mother that pretty much brought it back to her dead. I salute that mother. But I'm definitely disappointed that we didn't really get a lot more of what we were getting in the last chapter. It's like, really amazing chapter, and this one, it was fine. Really just Rebecca-centric, giving character development, and again, I feel as though this is big setup for her to potentially become a Straw Hat, because it just, everything fits with her. Although ideally, I would really love Bartholomew to be the next Straw Hat, or hell, add both of them. Rebecca with the Mera fruit, and Bartholomew just fucking kicking ass, cutting tongues off, and being a beast. All while being a Luffy fanboy. Although I think Luffy fanboy is a bit not even as extreme as what he is. He's a Luffy tard. So in a nutshell, fine chapter. We didn't get too much, but I feel as though with Rebecca, we're starting to understand her more, and definitely feel as though in the next few chapters, Luffy is going to try to help her whichever way he can, even if it means disrupting the Coliseum, screaming at the crowd to go fuck themselves, whatever the case may be, because Luffy is looking at her like the same way he looked at Nami and Arlong Park, and I feel like we're just going back in time, and it's just really like setting up for a good thing to come. So I'm gonna give this one 6 out of 10. It was a fine one. Also making me interested to see who was her grandfather, what did he do, why does the island hate them in particular? Is it because they favor Doflamingo more, or is it because they just are bitter at him for leaving them behind and pretty much having Doflamingo as ruler? And it was pretty interesting to see Doflamingo in his younger years as well. Let me know what you guys think. The main question I got with this one, I guess I could say, is Rebecca, Straw Hat or no Straw Hat? I think that this is more than likely confirming that she is a future Straw Hat, hopefully with the Mera fruit, because I think one of the things that we've been missing from the Straw Hats is a female that is absolutely beast and can fight like hell. Because Nami has her tricks, and you know, she could fight with some people, and Robin, she could use her monos and whatnot and do some things, but I want a beast right now, and I think Rebecca, with her fighting skills, plus giving her the Mera at some given point, we will have epicness and crazy shit. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up if you can't wait to see whether or not Rebecca is going to be a Straw Hat, and what is Luffy going to do in response to this thing that these people are just booing her just because of her grandfather. Brings me back to Jaya, when they wouldn't respect this guy because of his ancestor being a so-called liar when he really wasn't. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.